My teammates and I decided to take a tour around the school we were playing against us. As we entered, we thought the school looked like a mansion. I compared the school to mine. I never saw this as a problem until my history teacher had brought it up. Think about a time you've seen inequalities in a school setting. Personally, this affected my whole K-12 education, but I never questioned inequalities until high school. States should give an extra % of state money to low-income schools. Today, we'll take a look at the problem with inequalities based on property tax, a solution to bring equality into education, and some actions you could do today. Now, let's take a look at the problem. The problem with education funding is that the money that's collected is based on the properties the students live in. This means that the money that's collected is based on the value of properties, so this creates wealthy and poor areas. This affects student achievement because students are getting equal chances to succeed. In the 2018 article entitled Education Funding, Barbara Mantle states, "For 28 years, politicians have cut tax the way that take away resources from public schools, and this resulted in teacher shortages, classroom with outdated textbooks and technology." Aaron Gard Smith, a director of education reform called Reason Foundation, mentioned in his 2017 article entitled Using Property Taxes to Fund Public Schools Prompts Inequalities. He states, in California school districts, there is two types of funding, one called basic aid, which are the wealthy areas who are allowed to raise their own revenues via property taxes. Andy Okundu, a psychologist, in his 2020 TED Talk called The Opportunity Gap in U.S. Public Education and How to Close It, mentions, an Education Board report shows that the majority white districts receive about $23 billion more than the annual funding than non-white districts, even if the same amount attend the school. A fact I got from the inequality in the U.S. mentions identified two chief drivers of economic inequality in the U.S., unequal educational opportunity and an increasingly regressive tax system. Chicago Tribune mentions, Democrats say that the matter was largely caused by a Republican-championed property tax caps and changes in education over the last decade. An example I got from Aaron Gard Smith between wealthy and poor areas being funded mentions, in 2016 through 17, Laguna Beach Unified School District got $16,941 per student, while Garden Grove Unified got $10,719 per pupil. Andy Okundu quotes, "Why set back students whose fault it isn't? They were born in different circumstances." From your responses, I understood some of you guys have been through the inequalities, some of you haven't, and some of you understand the problem. But do we really want wealthy and poor to define what education we get, or anything in general? Like many, Neil McClurksley, a director of the Center Education Freedom, mentions, while there's evidence that funding low-income schools brings better student achievement, there's also evidence that it doesn't. And I acknowledge these factors, like William Mathis, a managing director of National Education Policy at the University of Colorado Boulder. He quotes, "But that doesn't mean by any stretch of imagination remove our moral or legal obligation to try and give children an opportunity through education. This is an act of opportunity, and yes, we don't have evidence that funding low-income schools brings a difference, but are we really not going to try to give every student a chance to succeed?" We've taken a look at the problem, and now let's take a look at a solution to bring equality into education. My solution to changing inequality in education funding is that the state will provide an extra 20% of money, and this will be given to low-income schools. This will be between the state and the school, not the districts. They have to put in an application mentioning their shortages. After their application will be processed, and the State Board of Education will take a look at the school to ensure they're not falsifying anything. The 20% will be given to the school's principal, and the school's principal will be watched at all time to ensure they're using it for the students and the school. They only have to turn in their application once, and they will get 20% annually. They can only use this money for school expenses only. This issue is based on the value of properties, so it's evident that wealthy areas will get more funding. They're ensured extra funding, which allows them to thrive in standardized testing. On the other hand, poor areas get their funds cut because of their location. They don't get parent donations, and they don't thrive in standardized testing. And you're probably thinking, well, this isn't equal because you're getting extra money from the state. Well, it is equal. There's been studies showing that student achievement is based on is based on resources, so funding. My plan will ensure that that gap is closed. The money will be given to low-income schools to ensure every student gets a chance to succeed in an education we know exists. Now imagine a student entering the school. Their books are falling apart from how old they are. They're in a classroom with 45 students or more. Their binder is falling apart because it's the same one from last year. This will happen if you don't choose my solution. But you're not that person, are you? Now imagine a student getting a chance to be in a classroom with 20 students or less. They get new books annually, which ensures accurate information. They have academic tutors. Imagine having 10 counselors, not just one, to ensure every student is in a path for a college education or a plan after high school. We've taken a look at the solution. We've established the problem, taken a look at its solution, and now let's take a look at some actions you can do today. What can you do today to fix this problem? Get the word around. Tell somebody about the inequalities in education. Another thing you can do is donate to your local low-income school. And how can you do this? Buy tickets for a football game. Attend a choir concert, a musical, or a play, and donate a few dollars. Or buy something from a bake sale or a car wash. Just attend any event that your local low-income is hosting. Today, we've taken a look at why states should give an extra 20% of state money to low-income schools. We've taken a look at the problem and inequalities in education funding based on property tax, a solution to bring equality in education, and some actions you can do today. Personally, from the research I've done, I will continue to donate and get the word around because I won't allow my siblings to go through the same inequalities I did. Remember, we have to save students' education. The cycle can't keep repeating where wealthy and poor define what education we get. Thank you.